Now, Biden is rejoining the anti-Semitic UN Human Rights Council and getting bullied by Iran. Now, if you thought China was scary, think about Iran. Think about how afraid they were of Donald Trump as president. Do you think they're scared of Joe Biden? Do you think that they think that Joe Biden is actually going to make any moves if they step out of line like Donald Trump did? I don't think so, Danielle. I think that they know they got a soft guy in office who, as we explained, probably isn't totally sure what's going on. That's also a frightening prospect. You know what's going to happen with Iran.
I mean, Trump talked about the fact that Obama's deal with Iran was completely ineffective. This whole idea that, oh, Iran's going to get money, and if they're more economically successful, they're just not going to keep on building nuclear weapons. It's like, first of all, we have no way to really check that they're actually doing that or not.
Right.
So they're like, oh, yeah, no, we're not really working on that. It's like, you probably are working on that. So that whole strategy of Biden now, I think, who's picking up something similar of saying, oh yeah, we're going to reward them, economically, and then we're not going to be as close to them having a nuclear weapon. It's like that strategy is obviously not going to work. And I think Trump was a lot more realistic in realizing that, our enemies, they're not our friends. And they're not people that we can just negotiate with on things like that. And he brought peace to the Middle East, and he worked well on all these fronts. Right. So it's not that he wasn't willing to work with other people. He was, but in a much more effective way. Not in a way that says, oh, America's weak, but in a way that says, no, we're strong, and this is how we're going to bring peace to the region.
Well, and when you have Iran saying that it won't honor the nuclear commitments until sanctions are lifted by the United States against them, I mean, I feel like Joe Biden is going to cave, like a pile of feathers in the face of this. Whereas with Donald Trump, you had a businessman. You had a guy, Eric, as you know, who had negotiated with the toughest people his whole life, knew how to read people, knew when to push the envelope and when to pull back. Joe Biden has never held a real job in his entire life. And so the problem that I see here is that where they knew that Donald Trump was serious, when there was a line drawn in the sand, if you crossed it, we're coming after you as America, that is gone. Yeah. That is erased. It is totally gone. And now we are, as Danielle says, a weaker country. And what does that mean over the next 4 years?
Well, listen, it's scary. I mean, I think business people, the way I think, certainly the way my father thinks, is it's very simple. You lay out what your competitive advantages are in whatever you do. In real estate, it might be location. It might be, the quality of your product. It might be brand. It might be service, right? Those are your competitive advantages. Maybe just being a better company and having better people and executing better than others. If you look at America, that's kind of what my father wanted to do, right? He wanted to exploit our competitive advantages. We have the greatest oil reserves in the world, right? And guess what? Make us energy independence, allow drilling, right? China, their energy reserves stink. Frankly, they don't have any. They have to go all, right? So that is such a competitive advantage that we have. He wanted to fill up the strategic petroleum reserves. He wanted great pipelines to transport oil and gas. And then as part of that, he built the pipelines here, and he did all the other things. He realized a great competitive advantage was our military industry. He wanted to have the greatest military in the world, because if you have a great military, no one can ever mess with you, no one can ever touch you. If you have the greatest economy, no one can ever mess with you. That's why he cut taxes and he cut regulation. He was trying to lure trillions of dollars and have it repatriated back in the U.S. and have industries come to the U.S. and actually manufacture here. He wanted to exploit all those industries. If you actually look at what Biden's doing, he's doing the exact opposite of that, right? He's paying more for everything. He's entering into things that have absolutely no benefit to America. He's crippling our industries via every kind of green initiative. He's stopping all the pipelines and all drilling. So, I mean, you already see gas. I mean, gas under my father was the cheapest gas has ever been.
Yeah, it's already gone up.
And it's already flying through the roof. You're going to be back to $5 gas. Mark my word, you're going to be back to $5 gas quickly. He's actually destroying every competitive advantage. And he talks about more taxes on corporations, which will send more people overseas. It's insane. It's actually almost what New York State did, which is one of the reasons that everybody's leaving New York State to go to Florida, right? It's the same policies that he's imparting on this country that will ultimately cause this country to suffer tremendously, all while China is actually focused on taking their competitive advantage and exploiting that for their own good. And
And it's crazy the media just can never see that. The media can never report any of those facts. The media can never report, his success or any of the things he did really well. Like when he took out al-Baghdadi or Soleimani. They never report on those things. They only
You mean
want...
the austere religious scholar? Yes.
Yeah,
No,
but they
it's
only
so
want to
ridiculous.
focus on, like the dog who was there or something. They never want to give credit to Trump.